Hello everyone, today I will show you how to create your first application with the Revit API. So let's start. Click on New Project, choose class Library. I will call it Revit API HW, Hello World. Make sure that you check this Create Directory for Solution, so you make sure that all your file and folders will be well organized. Click on OK. Now I have my DLL. The output of this project will be a DLL. If you right click on the solution and rebuild solution, you will see that the output is a DLL. Now what we will need to make this DLL work with Revit is to add the Revit API. Right click on the project, add, and then reference. You can browse your reference on your or I will choose them. You will choose them from your recent list. So the two DLL you will need is are Revit API.dll and Revit API UI.dll. I will use Revit 2015. It doesn't matter the Revit you are using it. All of them are the same. So now I have my reference. If I click in this button, if you don't see it, just make this panel a little bit bigger. You will see it, show all files, and you have reference. Right click on the left triangle and you will see Revit API and Revit API UI here. You don't have to copy on local, so just change them to, and this is good, change them to false, so your files won't be copied on the output of your application. So change copy local to false for both files. Now close this. I will rename and hide the unnecessary file. I will rename class 1 by main. Mainly we need two files. The first one is the main, is the will be the assembly name that we will use with Revit, and the second one is your command. And all the commands will go into this class. So let's start by making the first one. And again, the startup of the application, you can create a template, and whenever you want to build up a new application, you can start from your template. There is a lot of code that you will copy and paste. There is nothing to do. So the first thing we will do is we will import Autodesk, Revit, and UI. The second thing is we will implement external application, and click on enter. It will create the two functions. I will put the shutdown on the bottom and return succeed. No, try catch. I like try catch. Dot message and ex dot struct trace and return. Sorry, failed, and here return. Succeed. Now what we need is to create a block of code that we will always use. The first thing is to create the rebel application that create a tab, rebel tab. We will call it hello. The second thing is we will create our panel, rebel panel. So let's call it the rebel panel as rebel ribbon panel, and RP equal application dot create ribbon panel. So this tab name, it should be the same as this is your tab, so you should have the same name. And now the panel name, let's call it hello as well. Now what we need is to create our button, so let's call them push button as push button. Let's create our first. Now we have created the tab, second the ribbon panel. Now we need some information for the push button. The first is the button name string, it's information. The second is button text string. The third is the assembly name as string, and finally the class name as string again. So the first button we will create button name, let's call it hello one. The button text will be hello. The assembly let's call it assembly path, because it's path, it's not a name. Assembly path, cool. It's the path for your DLL, which means all this path. So the easiest way is to call type assembly and location. Location. It will return the full path, and the assembly path, you will always need it, and it's always the same. Finally, the class name. Your class name is the go to my project, copy revit API HW, and we need later on the command class. Let's call it cmd hello. Now what we need to define our push button equal rp, that's add item new push button data. So the first thing name, it's the button name. The second is the button text. The third is the assembly path. Last thing is the class name. So we have the code, we have everything for the startup, everything is in place. This code, you can copy it and paste it always. It's always the same, unless you want to add more buttons. If you want to add more button, you just replicate this part, this 4 lines. Now we need another thing is to define the command hello. So to do that, right click on the project, click on add, and then class. We will call it cmd hello as we define it. Now again, we import the autodesk.revit.ui, and we will implement the interface external command. Click on enter, it will create the required function automatically. I love try again. Message box, yes. Oops. And yes, stack trace. Return fake. Return true, and here msg box hello and hello. Now I rebuilt my application and bingo, everything works fine. We have everything in place now. The last thing we should do is to define the transaction for Revit. What you can do, there is what you can do, there is two small lines that you can copy and paste them. Bingo, that's it. And in the command as well, here as well, and we should be fine. Don't forget to rebuild your application. We have to tell Revit that we have a new add-on. To do that, so we go to folder add-in, open the folder program data Autodesk Revit add-ins, and into the folder, in the folder add-ins, you will find all the installed Revit versions. For our case, we are using Revit 2015, so go in Revit 2015, create a new file. You call it, for example, hello, but the extension should be add-in, yes. Edit your file, this is your file, and copy and paste this code as it is. So the name, we'll call it hello. The assembly is your output, this output, copy, and you paste here. The add-in, go to your application, my project, assembly information, and you have here the grid. This is your grid, bingo, and paste the full name, the full class name. Go back to back to your project, copy the name there, and copy that. It should be main. Careful, it's not your command here, it's your main class here. This should be this class. And vendor ID, you put whatever you want. Vendor description, you put whatever you want. Usually it should be an account with Autodesk or stuff like that. Anyway, so now we should be ready, and bingo, let's start Revit. If you note, we have now a new menu in the tab. Here it's called hello. Let's try it. Click on any project. We have our project here, and click on hello, and you have hello and hello. That's it, and we have now our first application on Revit. Thank you again, and thank you.